I'll probably be getting issue 25 out the door sometime today because I take advantage of my days off. Oh, yes, I do. Uh-huh. Of course, it helps that, other things were outlined and already partially done even before I started really doing all this. And I find that, yeah, nowadays, if I do like 5 or 6 chapters at a time and then release it, like boom, 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 it seems to be a little bit quicker, but also it keeps the chapters flowing a bit more. Like that way, I'm not quite jumping all over the place, you know, that sort of thing. Oh, but yeah, looking at some of the stuff today. Okay, um, the fact that they put the "I am not Starfire" thing up, and it's by that Mariko Tamaki person, but the short black clothed midget that comes up to Starfire's butt in the picture. I guess I'll save this and I'll use it as the cover image. But wow, that's self insert to a level that that is just like oof. That oof. Because if you look at the picture of her and the drawing that's on this book, it's pretty much the same person, except the eye color is green for the girl, and she's a little bit younger looking, but she's just as rotund and hobbit-like as the actual writer. Um, to do a little bit of a comparison, like yeah, I put a lot of stuff I love in Uplift Protocol, but I'll tell you where I got my influences and stuff from. Like the Markav, pretty much from Gargoyles, because I like the fact that Wiseman put in the Easter Island Stoneheads, and it was an actual alien that was stuck on Earth. So I'm like, what if I make a whole entire civilization out of that concept instead of just the one mysterious visitor? And then, of course, there's Flash Gordon, Green Lantern, Superman, Sailor Moon. Um, got a little bit of never-ending story in terms of like the nothing eating away at shit. I pretty much put in all sorts of things that influenced me as a kid and everything else growing up because that's what I want to do. Could it be labeled fan fiction in some cases? Probably. I mean, because again, there's not enough people actually out there displaying a more heroic, kind of aspirational Superman archetype. But honestly, nowadays, most stuff is derivative of the big archetype setups. And it's like, wow, okay. Now, if we're going to do that, might as well go for the gusto. Oh no, allergies. And if that's the reason why I sound congested and clogged up, yes, it's like, thank you, allergies. Thank you. But yeah, to get back to this thing, it's like, oh, she's the ultimate outcast versus her expositionist kind of mother or something. Where it's like, Starfire, from what I can remember of the various animated adaptations and a handful of the comics that I have read with her in it, she's she's very bubbly. She's generally very bubbly, which is fine. It's important to have a character that's genuinely outgoing, and that sort of thing. And even what little bit I read from Abnett's the Justice League Odyssey stuff, she can have her serious moments too. It's just these people are just using it as a springboard for some why self-insert. Now, as a writer, in my opinion, yeah, you do put a bit of yourself in all your characters, whether you want to or not. But the difference is you have to spread out some of the aspects to all the characters. It's like you don't put all your particular setups into one character that will become noticeably Arthur Avatar type of setup, which can happen. You gotta be very careful with that. It, just in my limited experience so far. Again, that's all my opinion. You could say yay or nay to it. I just want to be honest. Like that's how I interpret some writing stuff. Uh, and it just looks like this thing is just a springboard for, because she's probably, I guess I can Google it or look it up or whatever, because even though, yeah, Google's messed up, but it'll probably display some information fairly quickly about this lady. But she looks like she's probably 40. If I had to make a guess, yeah, born 1975. So she's a bit older than 40. She's 45 years old. Um, but if this is what it takes to be a award winning writer, I don't want any piece of it. I really don't. Uh, she did a coming of age queer story, and Freddie learns to let go of a toxic relationship and value the people in her life who make her a better person. I honestly, Dead IP Land, I'm not interested in a bunch of people my age or older writing young adult, self-insert fiction. Or try to make the avatar like a blank slate like Bella. That's not my wheelhouse or my cup of tea. It's just it don't think it ever will be. Even when I was a kid, I really wasn't reading stuff that was specifically geared towards little girls. It's like, when I was a kid, I basically read a lot of the classics that my parents read when they were younger. Timeless stories like Narnia and things like that. Boxcart Children. It had usually most stuff I read for that was aimed towards kids. It usually had a group of kids as the protagonists, and it had boys and girls. It didn't matter. What I cared about was getting a story told to me. Like it could be a simple adventure. It could be filled with a little bit of magic, a little bit of fantastic. Some kid going on some big old grand adventure, because at the time when I was a little kid, I was like, am I even brave enough to do something like that? It let me do things that I wouldn't normally be able to do, go places I didn't normally be able to go. And that's just how I got caught up in reading as a kid. It feels like these people, yeah, it's like they're trying to relive certain aspects of their life through different medium to be like, I want to be the trendsetter of whatever. And it's like, oh boy, yeah, you're not trendsetting anything really. There's a whole lot of ground that's already been covered everywhere, and yeah, I think that's what gets some writers caught up in like a whirlwind of stuff where they don't even start, because it's like, I have to be 100% original. It's like, it's not going to happen, dude. It really isn't. There's nobody out there that's 100% original with anything they do in reading, writing, and everything else. There's some stuff that's just universal that continues to get told time and time again. And again, this is all my opinion. Ah, man, all I can really do now is just like, wow, look at the field of dead. It's just, if DC's gonna go out, they're gonna pretty much go out with a whimper. Um, and it looks like most of their floppies are gonna be KO'd and dead in the water by the middle of next year. I mean, yeah, I can understand why somebody would want to go full digital. Um, for one, you don't have to pay the paper costs and everything, because that could be a big chunk of your budget if you do go that route. But what if they're replacing most of the old stuff with this YA kind of like um, wheelhouse that's not really made for 13 to 18-year olds? It's more like aimed at 40-year olds, 40-year-old women who possibly drink a lot of wine and have a ton of cats. Not gonna lie, it sounds like it'll meet up with disaster. Because the only way you can really move from one audience to another is to make sure you don't completely disown the previous audience, which is what most comic book industries have done. They've pretty much alienated the audience that did usually prop them up, and not um, it's not very good that they also cut ties with a lot of comic book shops in different ways. or made it harder for those comic book shops to do things. That's the reason why, guys, it's like you might have to switch your comic book shop over to a hobby shop and pretty much bolster your sales through things besides comics. Probably some paraphernalia will sell pretty well, but it's not looking good out there. It really isn't. The only pure hobby shop that just stayed miniatures was the Warhammer 40k shop that's near the Target, fairly close to me. And I haven't been out that way in the last couple of months, or at least a month or two, so I don't even know if the store is still there right now. But last I knew, it was still going. You just never know. And I guess I'll link this lady's website below. But there's a thing that she put in here. The LGBTQQQ plus LMNOP content of this one summer consists of 2 pages where Wendy talks going to a thing called Guy's Circle, which she says is largely populated by kids with queer parents. And it's like, I did this thing. It's called Guy's Circle. It's like a music thing. All the kids' parents except mine were lesbians. It's like, lady, that's not gonna happen. The queer population at best is, I'm gonna be generous and say 10%. Really, 10% of like the world population. Uh, you know, there might be some more outliers out there, but what makes the world go around right now is parents having kids and those kids growing up and having their kids and everything else. It's just, oh boy, yeah. Comics is gonna, you know what? Maybe we'll see what happens in 2022. Um, I have a feeling that there's going to be more independent publishing houses that will probably be unearthed by various Kickstarter or Indiegogo formats. If some of these midliners can get out in the open and above the rest of the general din, who knows what the comic book landscape will look like. It's only a guess at this moment, but yeah, most of the established IP companies aren't really going to be very relevant. They'll keep putting out their pet projects until they run out of money completely, and then pretty much, if they don't end up firing everybody related to DC or Marvel, they'll probably try to live off of backstock digital sales. They'll probably sell off the rest of their people and things like that, and then they'll just try to make up some of the profit through backlog sales. Because it looks like they're not really going to support regular comic book shops anymore. Sad to say, I think most comic book shops will not be recognizable as purely comic book shops from here on out. There might be a handful that survive in a pocket of somewhere all across the country, but it's not going to be anything like when I was growing up where you could go to like the local store and see some comic books on the spin rack and then pick them up. Um, I don't even think they're going to make a big push for it in Walmart and other places. There are people that are trying that from what I've seen in general news and everything, but it's not a ingrained setup anymore. Uh, Even when I was a kid, yeah, it was very easy to find comic books everywhere. Now, it's almost as anemic as what Tradpub is doing with space opera, sci-fi, and fantasy. Their audiences have gotten older, but they haven't been able to replenish that audience with people like younger than 25, basically. So yeah, I'm guessing that's also why a fair amount of channels still do cover what is happening with Marvel and DC, because I don't know even how much longer some of those will have content streaming out of them. I mean, to me, there's only so many ways you can basically come at an issue. And quite honestly, that's why I try to focus on better things for this channel. Different kinds of books. Because it's far too easy right now to find stuff that comic book land is having trouble with, and more than just with the content too. Um, I guess I'll leave that at that moment for now, just because I have to go get myself some more coffee. Have a good day, everybody.